Good evening. Good evening and welcome to Bingerton. Hey, everybody that's already in the chat. I'm Beth. This is the Cool Table, and this is our Bridgerton recap after show. It's called Bingerton. And if you see anybody else using that hashtag, they stole it from me. Tell them to give it back. Thank you.
Trademark.
Hi. I am having a cup of tea because I realized that this set that I have very much matches the colors in the Featherington tea set. And it's teal and gold, a little bit of green. And I felt like using it tonight, having a cup of tea. Everyone say hello. You guys.
Hi. I'm having apricot liqueur.
That sounds gross.
It's not. Oh, when I drink it sounds gross?
No. I hate apricots, so the thought of, hey. I've been calling them focktails. It's a mocktail, Paloma. I'm trying to drink less, so this is an ad for Seed Lip. I've been using it. It's pretty good. It gives you the sense that you're drinking booze, but you're not. It doesn't mess with your Lexapro.
Can I just say that Beth is also having a stroop waffle, and that's unfair. Thank you.
I am having a stroop waffle. It's about the size of my head, and I love that you saw what it was.
Are you muting like as you crunch?
Mm-hmm. No, they're soft. But I am swallowing, and that's loud in my mic. Alicia just said she noticed a lot of people using Bingerton when we had Bingerton weekend, and it pissed her off. And it should. I made that up, motherfuckers. Quit using my hashtag. I should have trademarked it.
Can you trademark a hashtag?
Word? Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, Bingerton that's my after show. It belongs to the Cool Table.
You can trademark a slogan.
Like if somebody came out with Hang Outlander, I would absolutely just have them murdered. No, that's mine.
Yeah.
Like if we were calling this, I'm loving it, then McDonald's would come after us.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not.
They don't even use that anymore, right? It's just the they just do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the jingle.
Brian Cox. Succession.
Is he in the
Yeah,
McDonald's
that's right.
jingle?
He did. Yes. He's
goes doing all the ads now.
Isn't that wild?
I know.
I don't understand. He's the one doing that sound?
He's the voice actor over person for McDonald's right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I mostly hear it on Spotify because I don't pay for the premium, so I have to hear all the ads.
Hulu. If you watch Hulu, you forced to watch the ads.
Hi, Kristen.
Oh, yeah, we mute them. Because on Hulu, they come in so loud.
I'm sorry, all these people who are here for Bingerton. And we're like, McDonald's ads and apricot liqueur.
It's important. We're talking about Bingerton. I should have trademarked it. And how if you see other people using it, being like, cool, glad that you're using the Cool Tables hashtag. Now quit. Okay, so let's talk about episode 202. It's called Off to the Races. And I have to say really quickly that I just watched episode 2 of season 1 with my husband. So that's in my brain. I very much have Daphne, Simon, and Berbrook in my brain right now. But
who?
Lord
exactly.
Berbrook.
Okay. Exactly. Who? Daphne, Simon, what?
Is he the one who ended up marrying the Featherington girl?
No. Berbrook is just
Mr. Finch.
Okay.
Berbrook is just the Baron that was like marry Daphne in the beginning, and Simon beats him up, and then the thing that I forgot about what happens with him is that Violet has all of the maids spread a rumor about his bastard child with his maid, and it gets printed in Lady Whistledown, and then Daphne doesn't have to marry him.
I remember none of that.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it happened in episode 2, season 1. She has Lord Berbrook's mother over for tea, and she has instructed the maid to talk to her lady's maid, and the lady's maid tells her that Lord Berbrook has a bastard, and then they spread it around town, and then he's out. He leaves.
Now I have to look up who this was.
It's the same guy who plays the photo guy in Dairy Girls. The photo.
So Kendra brought up something interesting. I thought that Prudence
That's Nigel.
Featherington
Nigel Berbrook.
Yeah.
married Lord Berbrook. I thought one of the Featheringtons did in fact marry him.
In the
Maybe
book?
they did in the book.
In the
Maybe
book, right?
Yes.
Because Kendra's like, who do you think Prudence will marry in the show? And I was like, good question, because I don't think she's going to marry Lord Berbrook.
She certainly could. I mean,
I guess she could.
it's not like they're not courting scandal in the Featherington household. They certainly are. So let's get into 202. That's enough about 102. Let's talk about 202. It opens with one of my favorite scenes, which is Benedict and Antony shaving. Why do I like this scene so much? It's very
It feels
hot.
like self-care. I want someone to do that for, like, I know that they don't come in and do that for your legs. I mean, maybe somewhere they do. I would love that. Like, to like get a steam and then like a warm towel on my legs and a good close shave.
Yeah, that would be
I
nice.
bet it would feel amazing. It'd be so smooth. And like anytime you've actually pampered your legs, like you've done this sugar scrub and you've done all the stuff and then you shave them like with a really good foam or whatever.
A fresh razor and like a nice shave lotion. I do
then
like that.
Sling them all up. I did this one time when I was about 16 years old. Side note. I did this one time when I was about 16 years old. I like got in the bath and I just like shaved all over with Bath and Body Works. I want to say it was Freesia, but it might have been vanilla and brown sugar. I'm not sure.
Could it have been cherry blossom?
It wasn't cherry blossom. It wasn't Plumeria. Everybody
I haven't thought about that word in 20 years.
Everybody in the chat, tell us your favorite or your preferred Bath and Body Works scent that you used in the 90s, 2000s.
Plumeria was OG, man. OG.
Yeah, it was. That was the purple one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It might have been that. But I'm pretty sure it was Freesia. Anywho, I went to town. I had the body wash, I had the lotion, and I had some kind of scrub as well. All the same scent, of course. And then the body mist. And I was going out with my friend. Cucumber melon is the worst, Emily Daniels. That one will make me vomit as soon as I smell it. But yes, most people do like it. I couldn't handle it though. Juniper breeze. That's what it was. Juniper breeze. Oh my God. So I put it all on and my friend Steven came to pick me up. And we were not romantically involved. We were just friends. And I got in the car and he went, woof. He was like, what? And I was like, what? He was like, what are you wearing? And why are you wearing so much of it?
Layering. That's right. Because not only did you bathe in it and then you lotioned up, you had the final spritz.
Spray.
Yes. And if you just had the one flavor, the one scent for everything, you were really rocking a specific palette.
Ooh, Santa Burn said sweet pea. I loved sweet pea. Like, I think I still love sweet pea.
I think because of the sweet pea scent, I put sweet peas in my wedding bouquet.
Aw.
That's actually nice.
It is an attractive flower.
They're very fragile, though. So I don't recommend it if you want to have your stuff around for a long time. But anywho, don't do that. So yeah, the shaving scene is great. I think it showcases Benedict we finally get like a scene where he's awesome in general. Like, I love shaving scene and I love how Anthony is like, I just did a meme about this and put it on Instagram where he's like, definitely not the sister. He's like already like arguing with himself because no one has said, why not the sister? He doesn't say that. He's just like, Edwina's going to be great. Definitely not the sister. That's not happening. And it's just, he's already fighting with himself. And why?
Why do they say Miss Sharma and Miss Edwina Sharma? Why doesn't Kate get a name?
Go ahead, tell us. I know
this.
You know, Beth.
I know this. So in the actual protocol for that era is that you have some, like, the oldest unmarried daughter is Miss whatever. And the next ones down are their first names. So when Daphne gets married, Eloise becomes Miss Bridgerton. and Francesca stays Miss Francesca. Hyacinth will say stay Miss Hyacinth. But the oldest unmarried daughter is always Miss last name.
So it's more of an
That's
honorific instead of a snub.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I saw someone on TikTok talking about just Edwina's character, and she said something like, Edwina gets a name. She's always Miss Edwina, and talking about how it felt like she didn't say that it felt like kind of a snub, but she was making the contrast between her and Kate. And I wanted to jump in and be like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. Like Daphne doesn't ever get called Miss Daphne in season 1. She's Miss Bridgerton. And that's because she's the eldest unmarried daughter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mandy, yes, I do remember that from Sense and Sensibility. That's the oldest one is
if you've read a lot of Austen, you cannot escape
the
way the names are like put out for everybody. Like why Simon is actually Simon Bassett, but then he becomes Duke of Hastings. Like Bassett's his surname, Hastings is their dukedom or their duchy or whatever they want to call it. But anyway,
pass the duchy on the left-hand side.
So then we get into Kate and Edwina's suitors are all in the house. And I actually like comic relief of these scenes is fun, but I think it's a little silly. Like, would there be a line of men
that long?
Yeah. I'm guessing no.
Especially when everything is already so exaggerated in this world, to add that bit, it just felt a little, I was like,
I liked it though. I thought, how he comes and he's like, what the, like to not immediately go to the front of the line.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
They're very entitled. The Bridgertons are very entitled. From him to Eloise, like the way that they have a lot of privilege.
Well, it mirrors the scene in season 1 when that same thing happens to Daphne after Simon dances with her at the end of the Vauxhall ball or whatever. And Berbrick comes in thinking he's going to be the only suitor. And there's a line of suitors out the door. And then Anthony like throws them all out or whatever. So Anthony has been, in a sense, on the receiving end of that, both ways or whatever. And both times he was like, I don't like this. It was a nice little bit of parallelism. Yeah. Kate was guarding that door like an Olive Garden hostess. He was like, you are not getting unlimited breadsticks. That is not happening.
My kid went to Olive Garden for the first time for her birthday, her 13th birthday. My parents took her, and you thought that they had introduced her to the most magical lands ever. She was like, why don't we ever go to an Olive Garden?
Do y'all even have an Olive Garden?
I mean, Providence does, I think. I'm not going to cross a bridge to go to an Olive Garden, let alone 2.
Yeah.
Brett, that is exactly right. Why was Edwina made the diamond when it is not known how much dowry she has at all? Nobody knows. And like the fact that there are so many men like fawning all over her is kind of ridiculous, just because the queen's like, this is the best one this season.
Yeah, it's not made clear. Like they all know how much money they all have.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's been hidden, unless for some reason like you were supposed to have that much and somebody squandered it. Everybody knows he's got 10,000 a year. He's got 5,000 a year. Like her dowry's 20,000 pounds. Everybody knows all of that. So they would know what their circumstance is for the most part. And the fact that like, no, there's not that many unmarried men who don't need a girl's dowry, I would think, for it not to have been like an issue. So it is kind of weird that they, or whatever.
Maybe they're just bored.
Maybe.
What else is there to do but go sit and recite William Blake to somebody?
I could not believe he was talking to her about Blake. I hate William Blake. I know I should love him, but I hate him.
Tiger.
Someone read William Blake, my friend read William Blake at my wedding, and I picked a poem just like neither heathen Turk nor Jew, and she was just like, I fucking hate you for making me read this in a Southern Baptist church. Like I just did it because I was mad that my mom was making me get married in church.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
You want to know why I hate Blake?
Why?
Red Dragon.
I thought you were going to say Bull Durham.
Red Dragon.
She recites him a ton in Bull Durham. She loves William Blake.
I fucking hate that movie. And he's got that William Blake tattoo on his back, and it scares me to death. Everything about that movie scares me to death. I can't even believe I can't even believe that I can watch anything that Ray Fiennes is even in because I'm so scared of that movie. And so therefore I hate Blake because Francis Dollarhide likes him. That's it. That's the only reason.
Remember Philip Seymour Hoffman like flying down the road on fire in the wheelchair?
Unfortunately, thank you. Every scene of that movie terrifies me. Every last one of them. There's not a good scene in that movie at all. So Emma just said the queen confirmed that in the palace scene. Confirmed that I'm confused what we're talking about.
Edwina had a dowry or didn't have a dowry?
Yeah. Okay, so Emily says
I think
it's more to do
Emily's
with
right.
the queen. It's more to do with the queen wanting to use Edwina to find Whistledown. Yes, she does confirm that in the palace scene, that's exactly why she picked her.
She's like, I love mess.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that all of these men then would assume she must have a sizable dowry, or the queen wouldn't have done something like that.
Yeah, I think we talked about this yesterday, Emma, when she says why wasn't more made of Kate's lack of status? Like, she's the daughter of a clerk. Like, nobody should have paid any attention to her whatsoever. Like, but whatever. I mean, she's beautiful, and her sister's a diamond, so I'm fairly. I know she doesn't care. You know, like Kate's not there to find a husband. She says 8 bajillion times. So maybe like for her, people are not going to make a big deal about it because she doesn't seem to actively be pursuing.
Right.
I'm sure if she had been actively pursuing like dudes, Cressida Cowper would have been like, "Wah."
Sorry, I was muted, but yes.
Were you eating? Were you nibbling?
Yeah, I don't want my like swallows to be on the audio forever. Yeah, I don't understand. They didn't. It's not that they don't do a good job of figuring out like where Kate came from and like how she fits into the town. I even like the idea that Mary Sheffield married a commoner and that's why she's gone to India. But it does put like a crimp in who they are. Like the whole thing is, if you have like weird parentage, you might as well hang it up. No one's gonna marry you. So it is kind of weird. Maybe they all thought that the Sheffingtons or what we just said, Sheffields, were going to come up to snuff. Come up to snuff is such a Regency phrase. Good job, Santa. And I think that we're all meant to assume that she's Lady Danbury's guest, so no one messes with her. And I think that's true, but that's not necessarily like making men want to marry her. I mean, that's a different like, altogether thing or whatever. But anyway. We see Kate take control in this episode pretty quickly. She's very much in control. She's a very smug smile at the whole like first act of this episode. She is winning everything and she's very into it. It's very cute.
Yeah, I like it.
And she can whistle.
She can whistle. I cannot.
The whistle thing.
Oh yeah, I can't do that either.
Heidi just said Marina last year was the same weird way. It's like a new hot person at youth group. Like I said a couple nights ago, this is like not even as big as a mega church. They all know each other and they know what's going on.
Well, it is true. Like they all, the ton is only so many big, even though we were saying this a couple of episodes ago, we were recording that there's like, in Regency romance, there's 500 dukes, even though in reality there's like 10.
And they're all old and crusty and have no teeth. Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with this. Like Anthony told Daphne in the first season that she can't look for men of dubious parentage. And then he's like off with trying to court Edwina, who has the most dubious of parentages. So let's talk about the race. This is one of my favorite scenes.
So much velvet.
I love this scene.
For a warm
beautiful. Day. Although I thought Ascot was supposed to be, is not supposed to be black and white. Am I just remembering that from My Fair Lady?
I think that you're just remembering that from My Fair Lady. I don't think it has to be black and white. I never read that.
Okay. It was very colorful. But in
Lots
My
of
Fair Lady,
jewel
they're all in
tones.
black and white.
They're all the
Mm.
Ascot plot. Everyone who should be here is
Is
here.
yeah. Yep. B just said it's really the big dropped plot line of the season, though, that she's not actually a lady, but maybe they don't step on Benedict's season.
Mm.
Thoughts? Because that's true. I mean, if Eloise is going to be with Theo, if Benedict's going to end up with little Miss hiding around being a maid, Cinderella, then they can't keep doing like somebody who's not really of the aristocracy. But they could have like saved that by saying that instead of that being that Mr. Sharma was just a clerk, like that perhaps he was of the aristocracy, but he just wanted to gallivant to India or go back home or whatever. And that was what upset the queen and upset the Sheffields. Not that he was penniless or whatever. Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
these things
Think
never
ahead.
really crossed my mind. I was just like, everyone's beautiful. It's fine.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
I'm actually always thinking about how nobody has a parasol on and they all would be super sunburned. That's what I'm thinking about. the
One
whole
was
time.
kind of walking around in the background. I did notice that. One person had one.
I know they must be impossible to film with, and they don't want to like have them all with but they would not be in that bright sun.
Oh, the thought of being in the bright sun on bleachers, like without sunglasses, without a visor. Oh, it was like my hell.
But parasols are mad expensive too. Like, unless you're gonna make them, and like you can't exactly like get any with like metal spokes. Like, that would be a whole ass mess. I was actually listening to the Gilded Age podcast. I'm sorry, guys, but
yeah,
anyway,
you should be. That's awful.
Nope,
Continue.
I love it. So I was listening to the Gilded Age podcast, and they were talking about how they sourced all the parasols they used were real antique parasols, and how they just sourced them from everywhere. They like fanned out and found hundreds of them, and I was like, that's amazing. Y'all should lend them to Shonda.
They should source better writers. They should worry less about parasols.
Guys, it's like Downton Abbey. Nothing happens, and there are no stakes. And I love every second of it. And I'm sorry, it is just the most genius. Yes, I was very invested about whether or not she was going to throw that party. It was very important to me. I can't help it. It's just the way I'm wired. I don't know.
It's not that
Live your
I don't
truth,
care.
Andy. Live your truth.
Look, there are things that I cared about in that show, but there's not a character that I really care about, so it makes it not fun to watch because I don't care.
Heidi says that no
Anna
sunglasses or hats are allowed on The Bachelor. Why can't you have sunglasses? I mean, I watch The Real Housewives, and those women are always in these giant Gucci, Chanel, whatever, and it does not take away from the drama.
What is Alicia?
I mean, women
responding
didn't
to?
wear sunglasses back then. It's fine. But I'm just saying, I just kept looking at them thinking I would be sweating. My tits underneath would be getting the tit sweat.
It'd be awful. Kendra just said, what do you guys think about the look Colin gave Penn when he came back? They kind of like slow zoom or in on Penelope's face and his face as well. I think he's like surprised to see her there, like happy to see her. I think there are times when he's looking at her and is like thinking something different is about her. But I don't think that it's like Alicia said, it's not a friends only look. But I think it's more like I think Colin is being selfish and seeing himself through Penelope's eyes. So when he looks at Penelope, he's seeing himself. He's like, how can I see myself reflected in this person that I've read myself reflected in what she said? And now I'm looking at her face and thinking, is she right? Am I amazing? Let me look a little closer.
When he said he was never alone, I thought that he was going to say, I had your letters. You were always with me. And then he was like, I've met myself. And I'm like,
that's what she thought he was going to say.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Fully what she thought he was going to say. And then he's just like, myself.
I just get such vibes of myself in her so much. Like she's like writing to him and writing to him and writing to him. And he's like, cool.
Right.
He's like, how nice. She wrote to me all this time. Oh, when I was in high school, There was this guy that I was just obsessed with this guy. He never gave me the time of day. Fast forward to March of this past year, I get a LinkedIn message. He writes me this whole diatribe about how he was never good enough to me, for me, like all these things, wanted to like go out, all these, it was crazy. Anyway,
On LinkedIn?
yeah, on LinkedIn. Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Did you respond?
Of course I responded. I do not have the strength not to respond to that.
What
I
did you
fully
say?
I was like, thanks. Like,
I'm more
I was like,
invested in this story than anything on the Gilded Age. So please tell me what happened.
so he wanted to go out. We were gonna like hang out, but then I met another guy and we like started dating officially. So when the other guy texted me, like, because we had exchanged numbers, when the other guy from high school like texted me again, I was like, I can hang out that day. I was like, but we can't go that late because I have plans with my boyfriend that like later that night. Just because I started to get a really weird vibe, because
You
I was
should have
like,
gotten the weird vibe the second he sent you a romantic letter on
I
LinkedIn.
know, guys, I just don't see myself romantically at all. So like whenever someone like hits on me, I'm like, what's happening? So anyway, after I sent that message, he was like, okay, I'll contact you next weekend and we'll make plans and we'll hang out. I did not message him. He did not message me. So
But now you can
see,
message him back if you really feel like it.
I could.
Yeah.
There were some red flags. We'll talk later.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I got a message once from a guy in high school that I dated for a long time. And he was all like, he was really sorry for what a shithead he had been in high school, like some of the things that he'd done and said to me. And I was like, this is really nice. Like, it's been like 15 years. It's amazing. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. I've shudder to think of all that stuff. That's like not a big deal. And then I messaged my best friend from high school and she was like, he's in a 12-step program, but he's making amends with everybody right now. I was like, so it wasn't me. Fine. He doesn't realize that when the horrible things he did. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks,
That's
dude.
hilarious.
It was.
Andy, was your guy in the 12-step program?
I think so.
Well, there you go. He's making amends.
Yeah, but he legitimately like wanted to go out. It was,
well, yeah.
We'll talk. It was a lot.
Okay.
Which he's not supposed to do until he's like gone through the whole 12 steps. He was only in
which is
step
the red
number
flag.
Apology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll definitely talk. Alicia said she watched every episode and hated it and still don't regret it. Yes, I agree.
Of what?
The theater peeps in it. Serrano. Yes, I'm in. That is why I watch it. Theater peeps. Thank you.
Gilded Age. They're talking about Gilded Age. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to go back.
Yeah.
Colin
I agree.
Colin has stuff to make up for. Yes. Sorry, we're all over the place. It's my fault. I apologize, Gal.
Yeah, he's like a little fuckboy, and that stupid like facial hair that he keeps rocking. Ugh.
No, not cool.
Yeah, and then someone just said Colin has no idea. Yeah, Santa. Colin has no idea what he thinks of Penn. This is my thing. There's no romance there yet because he literally tells her in this episode, "You're Penn," and that seems so romantic. And then he says, "You do not count. You're my friend." So like it goes from romantic to horrible to friend zoned in 3 lines. Yeah. It's awful. Heidi just said Penn is super friend zoned and will be until she moves on and realizes what he's missing. I really can't wait for their season for that reason. And so many people have been talking about their season. Somebody put up, Andy and I were texting about this morning, that season 3 and 4, they are definitely doing seasons 3 and 4. But somebody put up on Twitter that season 3 was Colin and Penn, or Benedict, and season 4 was Colin and Penn. And people took it as like gospel, but I didn't see it attributed to anything official because I still think season 3 is Colin and Penn's season.
Season 3 could even be Eloise, honestly.
Yeah.
Why can't it be a mixture of what characters? You think they're going to stick with the formula of just, one true romance per?
Didn't Chris Van Dusen say that at one point, that they were going to stick with that format?
Yeah.
I just don't want to watch this Lady Whistledown shit like get extended for another season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if it's only 4 seasons, if that's where they're going to end, which of course they don't have to, but if that's what they did, it would make sense for them to push it to the 4th season so that when it
Mhm.
ends, it's over. But I really think they have set up where it could be Benedict, it could be Eloise, it could be Colin. We're not like stuck in it definitely being any of them. I just think that very last line of the very last episode with Penelope and Colin like makes it a little bit more ready for
Yeah.
them.
Mhm. It's just that Colin, there's so much growth that I think has to happen. You know, it makes me. We don't really know much about him other than he's like a feckless idiot.
Yeah. And Anna Christina just said Francesca's, Eloise, and Colin's all 3 stories happen at the same time. This is true. They do. Which would make sense if this season is actually Colin's for them to set up Eloise and Francesca, even though they really kind of happen concurrently in the books, like for them to be really well set up for the 4th season, which I'd be happy with.
Colin.
Colin.
Yes,
My brother.
That's just how she says it.
Oh, I just want to
Um,
give her
what
some
do-
confidence.
I
I'm
know.
tired of her being like,
It's
I just
what's
made a face that
frustrating
doesn't
about it is
translate
because
to-
she's not the same. Like Lady Whistledown
Mm.
has so much confidence, and Penelope when she's with Colin doesn't. That's what's frustrating.
Yeah.
Alicia just said from Luke Thompson's interview with EW, I don't think it's Benedict. I didn't even get a sense that the next season is his. I read the same interview. I think he kind of leaves it open. And I definitely think that this episode is where I first saw him as like a romantic lead when he has that poetry moment with Anthony. And he just like starts spouting like, what is it to desire a woman? A, he sounds super straight. Boo. And B, he sounds like he could potentially be a romantic lead. Whereas like every other iteration of Benedict, so, in season 1 and up to that point, I don't see him as a romantic lead. Like I don't see Luke Thompson even really being able to pull it off. Like when you're watching them fence, he looks like he has never had a fencing lesson ever.
I
And
want him to get
Anthony's
more
like
buff.
perfect.
I
don't
think
know
I
what
would
it
like.
is.
I want him to do like a bench press. I want him to be a little bit more, romantic Regency cover guy.
Mm-hmm.
He looked scrawny when they were fencing.
I didn't.
Yeah, he looked like he didn't know what he was doing. He's also kind of like he kind of bounds into a room and like the way he walks is kind of boundy. And I like the Duke walks in and it's like Duke like villain,
Yeah.
and Anthony walks in and he's just like sauntering like a fuckboy. But Benedict is kind of like
He eats the room. Honestly, Jonathan Bailey is shorter than Luke Thompson, but man, he swallows the space. He really swallows that space. He's fabulous. What did you guys, what I would like? I would like it if they didn't drop, that other suitor, the poetry suitor for Edwina, the one who seems to really like her.
Lumley.
Yes, he's so cute. I want him to be back, and I want her to go for him because he seemed very genuine and very sincere. I liked him quite a bit. I also liked Mr. Boat, the other guy that she gets pissed at Anthony
Dorset.
for. Yes,
Miss
very
Dorset.
handsome.
Yeah. So maybe next in season 3 we will see when everyone's kind of happily ever after of this season. We'll see Edwina with Lumley.
I liked him too. And if we were doing like real recaps, like we hadn't seen the whole season already, I would definitely be saying that the end of this season would be Edwina and Lumley together because she's always wanted a scholar. And he fills that position pretty well. And he doesn't have any kind of the weirdness that the other suitors have. He's not doing like fire tricks and like pulling Phillips out of his ass or whatever.
Or playing marbles. Like poor
gosh.
Eloise.
I know, that was funny. So yeah, I would like if that was what we were doing, I'd be like, oh, it's going to be Lumley for sure. But I don't necessarily think Edwina will be back. So I don't care.
That's good. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Edwina.
I don't like her. She's just so, first of all, she looks to me very much in this episode. She looked too young to be courted by anybody.
Yes, she does look very young.
Yeah.
And two, like her ingenue face, like it's perfect. I think that
Yes.
Teresa Chandran's doing a great job with like the wide-eyed, like, oh
That
my
wide-eyed.
goodness. Oh.
Oh.
Even
She's
when
always
she's
in
like,
pink.
yes, when
like
she's
pale
talking to Penelope, she gives her like a very genuine compliment. Like we get to
I like
see
your
Edwina's
dress.
her real personality is someone who's genuine and interested in other people. But yeah, she looked like a 12-year-old. I did want to say Emily asked, doesn't Benedict's season need more of a setup with the masked ball? Serrano says his story is like over 3 years. And I don't think narratively that they will bother with any of that. Like they'll do the masquerade.
Totally forgot about that stupid part of it. Like she was
Yeah.
Superman. Like she took her glasses off and put them on.
Yeah.
It's oh god.
Like he keeps a glove or whatever, doesn't he? Like keep a glove forever or something. But yeah, I think they'll do the masquerade, but it will be the beginning of the season for that year. I don't think it'll be 3 years later he goes to a party and she's on, it'll be happening all in one season. That's
Okay.
my thought. Because can you imagine them putting a masquerade in the middle of like Eloise's season and Benedict sees somebody and then we don't find out who that person is until the next season?
Right.
I can't imagine them doing that. How could
Well,
you
I would
people-
forget. I would be like,
Yeah.
oh.
We just talked about like a very important part of season 1 with Burbrook and like how they got rid of him, and none of us remembered it. So if Benedict sees somebody at a masquerade, we're not going to be like, remember episode 5 from season 3? Like it's just not going to happen.
No.
Heidi said, do you think she'll be a bastard? I hope so. I don't know. I don't know if she'll be a bastard or not.
It's so hard for us, for like a modern audience, to be like, yes, a bastard, like to have it really read. Do you know what I mean? Like this show is like put such a modern spin on things sometimes. For them to like make that an issue seems, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was wrong about almost everything this season, so I'm happy to be wrong again.
I know. I don't even want to go back and watch our Bingerton from before this season started. I think I was wrong about several things. Right
So
about a
many.
few, but not all of them. What do we think about Eloise in this episode and her like detective work with Penelope?
She's annoying.
Her finding the paper. Remember, she goes to the printer. She finds the paper. She meets Theo.
She's so rude to him. So rude. And again, entitled. And I don't like her in this episode.
I thought it was a stretch. All the printers, especially because Penelope is like, there's 800 printers. How many printers did she say there was in episode 1?
I didn't hear that. Surely there's not
yeah.
800 printers.
No, she was like, there's hundreds of printers in London and blah, blah, blah. That's how she's strong-arming him to take less money at first.
Oh, I think she just says like 10 a penny or something like that.
Oh, yes. She says they're 10 a penny. So how on earth does Eloise are like, the paper's the same? Really, Eloise? What a quinky dink. Like,
especially because the paper's all coming from the same paper mill. Like they're not coming
I was
from
like, can't possibly, but I mean, I guess whatever.
Yeah. There's not a there's probably like one paper manufacturer, and it's Brianna Fraser.
This has made me laugh.
Stop.
It is the same color. Just taking a star off my sweater and going.
How long is it taking you to eat that thing?
That cookie would have been gone in 4 bites if it was in this house.
It was big.
Beth, it doesn't matter how big.
She's such a little nibbler.
I do eat.
You eat like Edwina would probably eat.
Also, when I do these live streams, I like to eat because I think that my face looks better when it's in motion. So I'm either eating or talking. There goes a secret for how Beth does this.
Oh, my Botox just kicked in. I got it earlier this week, and I can already see it's working. Praise the Lord.
I have bangs because I haven't had Botox in a while. Anta said, I just liked Mr. Dorset. I just liked the name. I liked Dorset.
I liked him. I thought
Dorset.
He definitely is like sussing out what's going on, Should we leave them? When he like leans back and talks to Edwina.
I liked the
Yeah.
idea when we saw him originally that it looked like Kate was going to be enjoying the attention from someone else.
Mhm.
I don't know why it occurred to me that she would, be 100% against marrying herself. But for some reason, when I saw the trailers, I thought, oh, Anthony's going to have like reason to be jealous. That's why he goes to the boat and all of that. Like he actually like jealous. And
Mhm.
that's not, and I'm kind of disappointed that's not really what was happening, but it was a good scene. Her finding out
Alicia
what
makes
Dorset is doing is good.
Alicia makes a good point. I think it adds to why I don't like Eloise. She's not just entitled with Theo, she's entitled to Penelope. Like she's just like, your time or whatever you're doing isn't interesting or valuable to you. I only care about what I want. And I just was like,
Mm. Yeah. Eloise is definitely like completely self-aware. Like she is oblivious to other people's needs.
mhm.
And I find that frustrating. But at the same time, she's what Heidi said, like she should be entitled. She's titled and protected, and it showed her naivete. Like the idea that she thought she could walk into a printer's and just be like, tell me who Lady Whistledown is. Like when has she ever been told that she can't have what she needs and wants?
Oh, I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I'm just saying it just makes
Yeah.
me hate her guts
Mm.
for those few moments. I mean, I like Eloise. I don't like the stupid gauzy things that they keep putting underneath all of her dresses so she can have like the
I love those.
Puritan thing. Ugh.
I love it. That big collar that she was wearing in this one with the little embroidery on it. I love it. Big pussy bow right up here. And
What did
I
you
love
say
that
when
she,
we were watching about her hat? What did you call it? I
what
forget.
did I call it? I don't remember either.
It was
Oh,
so
a
funny.
focaccia.
Yeah,
She had a
that
focaccia
hat
on
was
her
like
head.
a focaccia roll.
Why does she have a focaccia strapped to her head? It's doing nothing. It's definitely not like
Nothing. It
keeping the
just
sun out of her
annoying
face.
you, giving you a headache. That's all it's doing.
Yeah.
Too
But no,
much.
her little sheer shirts remind me of Cher in Clueless. When
Yes.
she figures out that she loves Josh, she's wearing that
I love Josh.
sheer.
I love Josh.
I love Josh. That's what it reminds me of. 'Cause it's kind of that outfit she's wearing is kind of like light blue. And every time I see it, I think about Cher from Clueless. So I love
That
this
is
one.
She's
because
always
she
in light
can't
blue.
find her white collarless shirt
This
from
shirt from
Fred
Fred Siegel.
Siegel.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, we're the same age.
Yes, we are definitely the same age. But yeah, that's why I like those shirts. And Eloise, my favorite moment from Eloise in this episode is when Violet is setting Anthony down. Like they're on their way to the soiree at Lady Danbury's house that Anthony didn't get invited to. And Violet just
Mhm.
like gives him a little bit of what for. And she turns around to leave. And Eloise is just like just staring at them, like gawking at her mom, like laying into Anthony. I'm just like, it's like she's never seen it before. It's like the one time I saw my grandmother get mad at one of my cousins, and I was like, oh God, I didn't know she could do that. It was amazing. It was my favorite spot. Oh, horse race. One other thing that I noticed. Well, there's lots of things that I noticed about the horse race, but Anthony has his hand on Kate's back in the scene where they're like screaming at the horses. He at first, when he first sits down, he turns where he is just facing Edwina, right? So they're like shoulder to back. And then when they stand up and they're like looking at the horses, he's turned into Kate and he has his hand on her back when they're fighting about the horses. And it is really great. It's very
I'm
good.
gonna have to go by and do another shot by shot. Pause, play, pause, play, pause, play.
And their banter, their fight about the horses before the race gets started, where she's like telling him about the track and the
yeah.
horse and everything. And he's like, you think about it too much and you too little. Like, it's foreplay. Like, that whole fight is foreplay. The fact that Anthony, who's been with innumerous women and somehow doesn't have syphilis, doesn't know that that's foreplay is killing me. He knows.
But then again, I sort of feel like in every relationship he's probably ever had, like he's the Viscount. Like if he's been sleeping with opera singers like Sienna this whole time, like how many of them are going to stand there and actually have an argument with him? You know, they want his patronage. They want to be continued to be kept as his mistress. I think that's why it works with Kate, you know, because she doesn't just, when he's interviewing the women in episode 1, and he's like, how many children, like, what do you think about children? And she's like, I'll have 3. Do you want 3? Like, they're all like ready to fall all over themselves to like fulfill whatever desire he has. And Kate's like, no, F you. I'm not doing that. And you're wrong. And I'm going to win. Bye. And yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
she
the first
knows
time he's
things.
challenged. What does she know?
She knows things about the horses.
Okay.
My stepson used to be a lead. I don't know what you call it. He would take the dogs out at the dog track when they used to have that in Massachusetts. And I'd be like, how do you know which one was going to win? He goes, the one that took the biggest shit right before they went. And I was waiting for Kate to say that.
That will be
Nectar didn't take a shit.
Why were they going to put Nectar down immediately? He lost one fucking race. He just won a race. And now he lost one race. And they're like,
Off to
fuck
the
that
glue
dog. Fuck him.
factory. Did he pull did he pull something? I don't know.
Oh no, Nectar's going, what? That made no sense. Yeah, but you know what? No, it was good because Anthony bought Nectar. So Nectar
Is that what it is?
Is that the horse that he brought was Nectar?
Yes, that's Nectar. I wish they would have said, oh, it's Nectar. Like Edwina would have been like, oh, Nectar.
How do you know it's Nectar?
It's the same horse. It had to be
you
Nectar.
actually looked at the horse? I didn't look at the horse.
I cannot tell horses apart. I'm going to be honest with you.
I
don't know if that's horse facist or not, but I cannot tell horses apart.
Horse aphasia.
Oh God, Bruce Willis. That is some sad, sad stuff.
Oh, I wasn't even saying that. I thought he has aphasia, but isn't it when you can't also see faces? Isn't that what's that called?
I don't know.
Face blindness.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's so sad about Bruce Willis.
It is sad. But what I do love about the Nectar scene when she turns around and like, Nectar's gonna die. And then Kate gets mad and they leave. And he stops Edwina and he says, I meant no harm. I just wanted to spend some time with you. Edwina's face when he says that is perfect. This young girl is very much like falling for him in that moment. And there's nothing Kate can do about it. He said the right thing. Period. He did. He said the right thing. I'd be falling for him too. Oh, and Alicia said he heavily implies that it's Nectar. He says the thing about her childhood and looks back at the horse. Okay. It did not even occur to me that it was Nectar. I have to be honest. Kristen said, I cringed so hard when Anthony rolled up with the horse, especially because speaking of pussy bows, could he have put a bigger bow on that horse?
Bow on the horse.
Well, if someone gives you a Lexus at Christmas, it needs to have that big bow. So I guess if you give somebody a horse, it's going to have the same thing.
The amount of silk that went into that bow, they could have fed a small family, I think. Not necessary.
Maybe the costume designers had some leftovers.
I mean, for Anthony in the fictional world, it's too much for a bow. Like, stop it. It was a whole.
How does one direct that? Right? You're like, who do you go to ask for that? I needed the giant horse bow.
I don't know.
Parade on the horse.
The milliner / baker who makes you focaccia hats.
Focaccia hats. But I do love Kate in that scene. Her smug face in that scene is the best one of the entire episode. And like just the fact that she knew he was wrong and like she won one. I actually feel bad for like everybody's just doing such a good job acting that I feel bad for Anthony. I'm secondhand embarrassed for Edwina. And like I'm super proud of Kate because she got a win.
Listen, here's the other thing about Edwina. Like, she's like, oh, how nice, a horse. Like, I'm sorry. He bought you a horse. Even if you don't love horses, like, she was like, I like small animals, my lord. Shut up, Edwina. Shut up. He just bought you an expensive racehorse that lost. But still.
If man bought me a horse, and when what I really wanted is a little tiny gold mouse lamp where it looks like the mouse is lighting a candle, I would be very disappointed.
Like, Where did that go? Why a mouse lamp?
That's something I
What?
Oh no! Would somebody say something so we cannot
The
giggle anymore?
specificity.
I can't breathe.
Have you seen one before?
Oh, my stomach hurts.
The wheezy. I'm like wheezing.
Brett
A
just
mouse
said, Beth,
lamp.
Beth, you are unique. Yes, I know. I'm aware. I'm
Oh
aware.
god. Oh god. A
Go back
mouse
to eating a
lamp.
sweater.
Well, we've just bled out all of our viewers. Because-
Oh man, it's fine.
well,
It's
I mean, what is Edwina's mouse lamp? He just didn't bother to find out, did he?
Yeah. Edwina doesn't know what her mouse lamp is, and that is the problem. She doesn't know what she wants.
Now I'm gonna
We're-
have to like rack my brain and write in my journal tonight to figure out what my mouse lamp is.
Everyone
You should.
use that hashtag. Tag the cool
Mouse
tag the
lamp.
cool table.
What is your
Hashtag,
mouse
what
lamp?
is your mouse lamp?
What is your mouse lamp? And then you're all gonna get the weird Instagram store sponsored ads that I got that showed me the mouse lamp in the first place.
Oh, now it all makes sense now. Yes.
Mandy, I was drunk last night. Tonight it's just tea and stroopwafel. Though I have been not eating carbs the past few days, and now I just had a stroopwafel, so it might be that. Might be the
Sugar
sugar.
rush.
Mhm.
Sugar rush. Can we talk about my
Um,
favorite scene in this on this episode since we're getting on to an hour?
Yep,
Yes.
let's do it.
I'm sorry, did I just mess up what you had planned next?
Absolutely not. I just spent 5 minutes giggling.
About a mouse
Um,
lamp.
It was the heart to heart that Lady Danbury and Kate had when she said to her, like, "You're fine being alone," and she was just like, "I have lived," and I was like, "Yeah." Like there's a huge difference between being alone, choosing to be alone at a young age, to be a governess. Like you want to be in like early childhood education? No, you do not. That sounds miserable. People's joy and happiness. Oh, my heart broke for her in that scene.
Especially because you can tell on Kate's face that it's not what she wants. She's trying to
Yeah.
convince herself that that's what she wants.
Yes.
And the other thing that I got out of that scene is listen to older women. I realize that Lady Danbury is really not that old. She actually doesn't look old at all, but she's supposed to be like in her 70s. The woman has 50 years on you, Kate. 50 years. You think she might know a few things? Violet Bridgerton, despite the fact that like she doesn't tell her children anything about sex, has 25 years on Anthony, you know, or at least 20 years on him. Like she knows how to move her children through the season. She knows what he needs. But, you know, she can tell. I mean, look, you can't tell me that you can't look at your children and know what's going on in their brains because you've looked at their faces every day since the day they were born.
Yes.
Violet knows what's going on with Anthony. When he looks over at Kate after he impresses Edwina at the poetry reading, and he's standing there talking to Edwina, and he looks over at Kate when Edwina kind of like looks down. His mother can see what's going on.
Mhm.
It's evident. It's so perfectly like spelled out for her because she knows him because she's his mother. And Lady Danbury has 50 years of experience. Listen to older women.
The other thing is too, when Anthony is making that speech, that poetry, he starts reading Benedict's poem, and then he stops reading the poem. He starts out delivering that entire speech to Kate. He's like that when he's like, I have to be honest and blah blah blah. He's not looking at Edwina. He only starts focusing on Edwina like right at the end when he says Miss Edwina. But everything else is to Kate. Like looking right at her, head to the side.
It's because when he's reading with what Benedict wrote, he looks over, and as soon as he sees her, he has to stop lying to himself.
Yeah.
Like he can't keep saying this shit because he doesn't believe it because he's talking about like honor and he can't talk about it after he's seen her face.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I mean, it's so perfectly telegraphed. It's wonderful. And their stare at one another once he gets the win with Edwina. He goes off. Edwina comes to him and Kate is left alone. And then they stare at each other. Her face is just like the devastation of his win being because he was a man of honor. It wasn't because he seduced her sister. It wasn't because he said like a pretty thing and like was the most impressive. It was because he was honest and honorable. And that's what she can't handle because that means that he is good enough and could even be good enough for her. And so that's why she's just like gobsmacked. It's why she runs out and runs into the footman or whatever.
What
It's
their
such a good
dad,
scene.
is it Appa? What
Mhm.
Appa said, you just need an honest man. Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you want something so bad, you will tell yourself and everyone else that you don't want it because that way you're like almost like pre-guarding yourself against the rejection of never getting it.
Mhm.
Like I experienced that so much in my life where I would do that to myself. Like, I don't want that thing. Even like knowing like inside, like I want that thing so bad. And so you're just trying to like protect yourself from, or just already trying to have that rejection feeling you're not getting it early. And when
Mhm.
Kate was like lying to Lady Danbury about what she wanted with her life. And then I was proud of her because she did go back to the party.
Yeah.
She was like, fine, I'll go back.
Mhm. And she starts talking to another man or whatever, so she doesn't have to like look right at
Yeah.
Anthony. But I mean, you can tell she is lying to herself with Lady Danbury because she's flustered because I think at that point knows that she could want him and probably does because he's impressed her with that. And she didn't expect that. It's so good. Emma just said Kate's head shake every time she has to steel herself to put herself back into her role of sister is such a perfect signal of the conflict in her over her feelings. Yes. And Anthony does the same thing. He has like a kind of thing that he does where he, moves into like duty mode or whatever. He even has to steel himself to be charming to Edwina. He's different faces for both of them. So good. So good. And at the very end, Lady Whistledown's admonishment and that at the end of the episode in her the sheet at the end of the thing, her over why can't I think of words? Her voiceover is that she's there to keep us all honest. So right after Anthony has this like honest moment, Kate has this fake moment. Kate has to like come to terms with what she, then Lady Whistledown is like, well, I'll be here to keep you all honest. So it was all on theme, perfectly on theme.
Well, Lady Whistledown, aka Penelope, sit here and just lie to everybody.
Yes, but I personally will not be honest with anyone. I'm going to be running away from Madame Delacroix in the market when she sees me buying K's.
Like what Kate does.
A different letter.
Oh, what Kate does reminds me of like when I'm driving and I'm getting a little tired and you kind of have to like shake yourself. Like that's what it reminds me of. Like, woo, you were still eating that fucking cookie.
I'm almost done.
It is taking you 58
hour.
minutes and 30 seconds to eat, not even finish it.
They are very sticky. You can't just have a big bite of this. It will get stuck in your teeth. Caramel inside of them.
I don't understand what like just because Penelope was in that market, Madame Delacroix like automatically found out about her. Anybody?
That something wasn't like, yeah.
Well, she's dressed as a maid.
No, she's not. She just has a cloak on. Is she really dressed as a maid?
Yeah, she's got the maid like weird bonnet on.
Oh, she had the bonnet. All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah, she's dressed like a maid. I think she even has like their collar. They have that ruff. I think she has a ruff on too that you just can't see through the cloak. But she's definitely not supposed to be there. And maybe if she had like walked up to Madame Delacroix and been like, "Hey, what's up? I'm just hanging out."
Hey, girl, hey.
she could have like mitigated it, but she's meant to not look like herself. Like she obviously never wears that, and she's dressed like a maid. Yeah,
Well, she's like, I know this isn't one of those horrible oranges or yellows that I keep putting you
right.
in.
Like I know what you wear. That's not it. Why are you dressed like that? But I do like that she just ran away. Like she doesn't have it. Just nothing planned for when she gets inevitably seen by someone. She just is like, time to go. Wanna run. How do you not have anything else planned? The story.
I just wanted to get into my own.
That's what I should have done today when I called into that meeting and it was not the meeting I thought it was going to be. I should have just been like, I'm going through a tunnel. Like clicked out of it.
Crunchy, 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 crunch. Like just like moves them together.
Static.
Not
I'm
her
looking
house's colors. Do everyone in her house wear the green? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Like
all of the maids are wearing something of their own house. Like they all are dressed in kind of the same color as their whatever their house colors are.
Your uniform.
I mean, like the footmen have a specific livery and all that stuff.
Speaking of footmen, like that dude that was taking Eloise to the printer. Hey.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people like, can Eloise just have a thing with the footman?
He's close to home.
No.
He's got a cute smirk. There's no reason not to. Just do it. Just get somebody in a barn soon, please. I would like a proper scandal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't think that the Daphne and Simon's one makeout in the maze or whatever that Anthony came on as soon as he got a hand on a boob is enough. I want a proper finger bang in a barn that somebody, you know what I mean? Like people who can't keep their hands off of each other, they've done it like 4 or 5 times before they finally get caught and they have to get married. I don't mind a have to get married storyline again, but I want like proper scandal.
I think
I want a real
Colin
rake.
and Penelope first. He got them titties out, I think, in a carriage. We need more carriage.
Yes, we need some carriage sex.
Yeah.
These people they're not foisting themselves onto each other the way that they do in actual romance novels. And I need some more of it. Even if it's the footman. You know?
Because I'd make him keep his wig on. I'd feel like it was 1776.
I'd be like Mad King.
Yeah, like I've got my Lafayette portrait in my dining room for a reason.
Frenchman.
Well, breeches and a wig.
The footman's featured so often that I can see him having a little romance. Yeah, it'd be cute. It would be cute. I could do it.
That was a good part of Dangerous Liaisons. You got to see some of the people understairs doing it.
They had that in Downton Abbey too, right? Like the sons come in and like have sex with. Oh no, that's Gosford Park.
Yeah, I was like, that's not Downton Abbey. Nobody had
Gosford Park. Emily just asked the same thing you did. Don't Colin and Penelope hook up in a carriage?
Yeah, I think they do the first time.
And this is why Francesca's book is the best. Yep, because that bitch can have sex whenever she feels like it.
Yep.
The real scandal is that sends Eloise to the country where Sir Phillip lives. I don't know that I care about Eloise and Sir Phillip. I mean, they're really going to have to work to get me to care or believe that this is what Eloise does with her life. Nothing about Eloise screams she goes off to the country to marry a widower with 2 kids who loves plants.
Unless they betroth her to someone else who's like old and gross.
I don't think her mother would do that.
I know.
Not the Violet that we have.
One of these days we'll figure out what's going to happen with Eloise, but it is not this day. All right, it's been an hour. Anything else that we have to talk about from 202? Anything that was killing anybody?
Nothing. I just
just said, book Anthony's hand was always in Kate's bodice, and show Anthony's never is. That corset stays on. That's what I'm talking about. That I said this to Amy in her living room. He should have had his mouth on a nipple by now. he'd
Mhm.
have a nipple out by now. They're always popping a nipple over the top of one of those very low necklines. And nobody's ever doing that here. Even
I know.
Simon and Daphne, like all he does is grab her butt and put a hand on her boob. Why is nobody popping a nipple out? Those are the best.
That would be so great.
That's because these days we have people on set that are called intimacy coordinators.
Mm. And they're not any fun. I read this one, Birds Do It, Bees Do It, with the Elmo song about poop. Birds
What?
do it, bees do it. Even kings and queens do it. You'll do it. You'll use the potty. Anybody remember that Elmo song?
I don't
No,
know that one.
Elmo ripped off Cole Porter, I guess.
I don't know.
Doesn't
Read
Ella
the nipple.
Fitzgerald
That's the
sing that
same-
song?
Who?
Ella Fitzgerald sings a version of it, yes.
Oh, I'm
Maybe.
sure. All those songs were covered.
Yeah.
Even sentimental fleas do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what Elmo's doing. Look at me. I only know the Sesame Street version. Oh, Lord. All right, guys. Episode 2 was great.
We enjoyed it.
I'm off to go watch some more of episode 1 with my husband. I'm going to finish my stroop waffle. This is 4 bites. I've got 4 bites left.
Amy is so angry about that stroopwafel.
So when I have tea, I eat speculoos. Do you know what I'm talking about? The speculoos
Mm-mm.
cookies?
Yes. Mhm.
Andy does. You know, when you internationally travel, they give you the little speculoos in the... But you can also get them at Trader Joe's, Beth.
Yes, Trader Joe's has the speculoos cookies.
They're perfect.
Speculoos is just cookie butter.
Yeah.
It's like, but then they also make a cookie, which doesn't really make a lot
Oh,
of sense to me.
but it's delicious.
It is a nice cookie.
It's crunchy though, so Beth would have struggled to eat it tonight.
Yeah, this one's really soft. You can't hear me crunching it. Last night I was eating blackberries. Couldn't hear those either.
Thank you.
Oh, how
Brett
did you do that and not want to do this the whole time?
I'm very skilled at eating blackberries.
Thank you to Anna, Christina, and Brett. Yes, we had fun. We always do. Thank you for chatting with us.
I'm very, very glad you guys were here. We will do it again, not tomorrow, and not Saturday, but soon.
It's the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Working
Things going on, guys.
I
I
don't
get
have
excited.
anything going on, so these girls actually have lives. This one.
I'm taking
That
my
one.
daughter to a school play tomorrow night. This is my life. That's what I have
I'm
going
taking
on.
Ruby to a thrift store on this weekend. That's my plan. That's
I think
all
I'm
we're
taking
doing.
my mom to Costco.
Oh, that sounds fun. I mean, samples. You never know what you're going to get. Are they back to doing samples because of the whole
They are back.
pandemic?
They are back to samples now.
Yep. I have to go to Costco too. So
You need to
Do
go to
you
Trader
go on
Joe's
Friday
with
nights?
speculoos.
If anyone wants my number,
Are you going to
my
get?
life is so exciting.
Are you going to get?
go
the
on Sunday mornings.
Fantastic foot-long hot dog meal.
Ew, no.
No.
Oh, my mom's always talking about how like it's cheap and amazing.
Listen,
It is cheap, but I don't get them.
there is something about. Thank you. You can just make fun of me now. I like a small hot dog. Those are fine. When the hot dogs get really big, I get really grossed out by them.
You don't like your tubed meat to be too girthy.
No, that is correct. Everybody's like, "We're leaving. Bye."
If I could choke on it, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
We don't all have to be a size queen, Andy. There's
That's right.
There's someone for everyone.
That
That's
is
right.
true.
It's okay.
I had to explain to my daughter we're at a port. There's a port in every storm or whatever. Shit.
Mhm.
What that meant yesterday.
So anyway, I'm not a size queen. I'm single, and you can get in touch with me right there. Andy sings.
Because there's
But you're
so
not- but
many
you're not-
single
not a
men
s-
watching this chat all the way through till an hour and 10 minutes.
Some of these ladies might have a cousin.
Okay.
Any
Perhaps-
port in the storm.
Perhaps Mr.
Anything of
Collins
it.
has a cousin. Yeah.
But you're not a size queen. You're open to any and all experiences.
Yes, all of those things.
Oh, good.
Cool.
All right. Go get your $1.50
$1.50.
Coney. Your
Yeah.
$1.50 Coney at Costco Friday night. We go on Sunday mornings. That's what happens when
Ugh.
you're no longer a church person. You're like, holy shit, I can get shit done on a Sunday
Oh,
morning
is it super
now.
empty? Is it
It's
nice
so
and clear?
fucking empty. We live in
Oh
the
my
South. There's
God,
nobody in it
really?
on Sunday mornings.
Huh,
Daily.
if you tried to go to Costco on a Sunday morning here with all the heathens, oh, it would be a bad situation.
It is
It's
lovely.
so
We go
crowded.
at 10:30 every Sunday morning, and we are in and fucking out. It's awesome.
Mm.
Jealous.
So, folks,
Speaking of in and out,
leave church.
Andy is still single.
Andy thinks.
All right. We are really ending tonight now. Good night, you guys. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.